frustrated with a child has got to be one of the most normal things that most of us experience, whether we are their parents, their carers, or we're working with them professionally. It's just normal. That thought of why can't they just, or why don't they? They know what to do. They know what to do. They know what the rules are. We've talked about this a million times before. I've explored with them how they're going to ruin their chances if they don't do this. I mean, what isn't frustrating about that? So this might be something that you are struggling with at the moment. So please be kind to yourself, because I can't emphasize enough how it is really normal to feel frustrated towards your child, to feel resentment towards your child, even anger. Perfectly normal. But, here's my but. Whilst we do feel these feelings, I mean, I remember with my son when he was growing up, he's 30 now, he was ill for a very, very, very long time. And because he was so ill, he couldn't go to school. So he missed about roughly a year and a half of school. So when he finally got back there, I was desperate for him not to lose out. And, again, depending on the journey that you're having with your children, there may be things that they've experienced that make it even more feel like more pressure that I cannot let my child lose out now because of the pandemic, because of the divorce I'm going through. There are so many things I think that can bring us even more into this space of, really focus on, come on. So yeah, back to my son. So when he got back into going to school, I know my frustration motor was running really, really hard because I didn't want him to miss out. And so, of course, I'd sometimes point out very helpfully and do all sorts of things to encourage him. But deep down inside me, I was feeling really frustrated with him. And of course, he logically knew. So this is the thing, your children, so many of the things that get you in that kind of frustrated energy are things that you've told them a million times, or they've heard it at school, or they've heard it somewhere else. So they do logically, rationally get it. I get it is probably what they're thinking in their heads, even very young children, but they can't do it. So that is where our frustration comes in, repeating things over and over again, trying a different way of explaining it. And that's when we need to stop. So, when I've been working with parents for a while and we're comfortable with each other, they'll often say to me, what's the most important thing I can do as a parent for my child? And I will, given if it's the right circumstance, I'll say, shut up. Because rationally they get it. And your frustration pouring down on them, your resentment, you're going over and over things, it comes across to them as this hot, hard energy, very rigid. And then, understandably, you may get down, this all happens in our nervous system, to a very low energy then, where you're just so despairing and you're so exhausted going over and over the same thing again that your energy crashes down to the lower part of your nervous system, parasympathetic system, and you just kind of shut down and you just give up on them. Now again, for them, that's a scary energy. So they go on this big journey with you of, you're frustrated, so you're in the middle part of your nervous system, which is sympathetic, hard, hot, rah. Even if you're not shouting, they can feel it from you. And then when you get understandably so overwhelmed, your system might just crash and drop out. So now they've got this very wobbly, distant energy around them. And then both of those energies feel really scary for them. And they won't enable them to do the very thing that you need them to do, or you feel that you need them to do. So what did my son teach me on his journey going through all sorts of medical procedures and other traumas in life? So he kept showing me that what he really needed was for me to just be quiet. So not in a resentful way, but in a peaceful, actually, let me just walk alongside of this child and let him show me what he needs. Oh, he needs me to just emotionally care about how this feels for him, and to be there always as his emotional buffer, that I've always got your back. I'm not here to criticize you. You know, if you ask me, do I think it's a wise decision, I might explore it with you, but I'm not here to make life harder for you. I'm here to have your back 1,000,000% and to hold that emotional space. Now, you can do that with a tiny baby even. I'm doing it with my granddaughter at the moment. I'm not trying to fix her. You know, obviously I don't leave her, as Piers Morgan may have suggested when he interviewed me years ago, with a dirty nappy or anything. So I make her physically comfortable, but I'm also not trying to say, oh, don't be sad. I'm saying things like, oh, you are feeling sad right now. 6 months. And if we do this and we go on this journey with our children, they grow up with, oh, this is how I feel right now. So I need to go and, plug into the person whose energy feels safe. So to go back to frustration, when our children are struggling to do something, they will be feeling frustrated, or they might be feeling very lost and very scared. So what they need is to be able to plug into our energy and our emotional state that takes a big old breath and is able to come back to them with, whoa, this seems like it's really hard for you to settle to do your revision, or I'm wondering what might be helpful for me to do to help you feel a bit safer about going into school, or something like that, so that then we're more walking alongside of them, but obviously with our knowledge and our wisdom and our fully formed prefrontal cortex. We do know stuff about life, but as soon as it gets to the point where you feel hardness in the way that your emotional state and therefore your physical state towards your child, that's when you really need to bring yourself back in, allow yourself to feel your feelings, but then really ground your nervous system, because it's either stuck in energy or boom, I've checked out energy, neither of which are helpful. So I hope that's useful to you, and the easiest way to do this is by changing the balance in your nervous system, and by changing the deep down inside of you beliefs and habits and behaviours that got wired into you when you were a small child by the understandable frustration and resentment the adults around you would have felt. So if you're interested in having a big upgrade for your system, in a way that will serve you as this amazing being in your child's life, then drop me a message and I'll very joyfully have a chat with you about it and see what we can do together. So take care. Remember the power in the meantime of, I can feel myself getting, I need to calm myself down so I can go back to being a holding safe energy for my child rather than a frustrated, resentful one.